Welcome into the Cougar Tailgate, where BYU fandom lives. Here's your host, Lauren McClain.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm here at BYU Football Media Day for 2022. Up here in a little bit, we're going to have defensive lineman Lorenzo Fauatea. But first, he was one of the top receivers at Southern Utah University during his playing career, and now he's BYU's passing coordinator and wide receivers coach, Fesi Sitake. How's it going, Fesi?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I saw you went to Garth Brooks last weekend. I was there as well. Nice. Not in as good a seats as you were, but how was that concert? You were on the floor.
Yeah,
that's rude.
Maybe we're just taking a picture, Kate. Really, no matter where you were at, that thing was unbelievable.
Good.
That guy either sold his soul to the devil, or he's like immortal because you're not supposed to perform like that at 60 years old.
Well, and it's not like he's in like the best shape of his life either, and he's just running around and
shouting at the top of his lungs. Unbelievable.
Are you a country guy?
I love, I pride myself in, I love almost all music. There's just a couple that I refuse to listen to, but I love all music, and so I respect artistry, and I do love country. My wife and I are going to a Dan and Shay concert here in a couple weeks, and we try and hit it all and stay diverse in our music. But,
I love that.
Yeah, I think Garth Brooks is the king. I know George Strait's the king of country, but Garth Brooks is the king of entertainment, country entertainment. He's up there with your Michael Jacksons and Princes in terms of just the full production. And
I agree.
Yeah, I love it.
He makes everyone feel like he made us feel like Salt Lake was the best place he's ever been to. And you're like, I know you do this at every concert. Yeah. I don't care.
He made eye contact with me and pointed at me, and I have it on camera. I was like, man, this guy just jumped up 50 spots.
See, you were on the floor.
No, I was just taking a picture down there.
You're right. All right, Fesi, this will be your 5th and last season coaching in Independence. Is there anything you will miss about the Independent era?
I thought you were saying 5th and last season. I didn't know something was happening.
Yeah, you didn't. No one told you. No, of Independence.
Yeah.
So is there anything you'd miss about Independence?
Really just really traveling the country and having a new schedule every year to go see new places and interact with fans who have been waiting till there was a game in their backyard. And I'm gonna really miss that part of it, but as much as I'll miss that is more excitement for the opportunity to play in the Big 12 Conference.
And speaking of, I feel like recruiting in Independence has its challenges. Going into the Big 12 probably improves things a little bit, but how has your role as a recruiter changed since BYU announced you're going into the Big 12?
The biggest thing is I don't have to worry about defending the fact that we're not in a Power 5 conference. We had so many things going for us. I mean, ultimately, when you win games, which we've been able to do, fortunately, and send guys to the NFL, you're going to get a lot of traction. And as you get in deep with recruits, you hear different pitches from a bunch of different schools. Well, when it gets serious with BYU, a lot of schools were quick to mention hey, you sure you want to be independent and all this, and they're not part of a Power 5 conference. Right. And obviously we had our ways to combat that, but it's going to be nice to be able to not have that, anyone have that ammo to say, we're not affiliated with any Power 5 conference. So that's been a big help in recruiting, and then kids just they love to play for a conference championship.
Absolutely.
Which is going to be nice to have as well.
It's going to be so fun. And I've been around coaching enough to know it's extremely time-consuming and exhausting, but hopefully equally as rewarding. And you began your coaching career back in 2011, is that right?
Yeah.
So has coaching been as you expected it to be?
No, it hasn't. Especially because I never anticipated coaching. It wasn't in my future when I was pursuing anything professionally. And so I didn't know what to expect. So when I came into this profession, I had to formulate ideas of what I think it might be. Just looking after people, especially Kalani, his career. But honestly, for the better, it's been way more than I anticipated. I thought I would potentially be sacrificing a lot more in terms of time with family and all that, but I've been wrong, and I'm glad I have. And that's just a credit to the bosses I've had.
Yeah.
Ed Lamb, Jay Hill, and now Kalani. Every one of those guys have this perfect balance of winning and trying to perform at the highest level, but not at the expense of what should be priority number one, which is our family, our wives, and our kids. And I've been so lucky to be around people like that. I never feel like I go to work. I'm so lucky. I feel guilty all the time that I get paid to do what I do, and so it hasn't been what I thought. I thought there would be a lot more of, and granted, I've had some ups and downs sometimes, and there's been a grind, and I've had some adversity, no doubt, but the big picture of it all, I've been super blessed, and I hope to stay around this game as long as the football gods have me around.
Well, you're so good at what you do, and so that's interesting that you say it wasn't even really on your mind of something you were going to do for a career. So what got you into coaching in the first place?
When I was done playing at Southern Utah, I had a pretty good career and was going to try and pursue the NFL deal, knowing it was a long shot, but I wanted to give it a shot. Well, that year there was an NFL. It was the year the NFL did the lockout, and so every team, there were 600 less players that were going to make it into the draft that year. So I was advised by everyone to say, hey, go again next year and you'll get on a team. So the question was, well, what do I do with this year that I have?
Yeah.
And Coach Lamb, I wanted to get my master's because if football didn't work out, I wanted to go to law school and be a sports agent. So I was like, well, to get my master's paid for, maybe I can go be a graduate assistant. So I hit up Coach Lamb, and he says, yeah, this is great. Well, 4 months into my graduate assistant year, our receivers coach left, and I get offered the receivers job. And I was like, whoa, this is not going as planned. And I had a kid already and was married, and so I hit up Kalani, and he said, gave me great advice that I'm so glad he gave. It was give it a year, and if you don't like it, business field, law school, that will all be there for you. Yeah. If you do, though, you got your foot in the door, and you have an opportunity that people wait years and years for and sometimes never get. And so I did, and here I am, it's 11 going on 12 years later, and I like I said, that's part of the reason I feel guilty and that I get to just do what I love and make a living off of it. So
cool. Oh, you're a hard worker, but obviously I feel like some things are meant to be, right? Yeah. You're meant to be where you're at, and more so when you began coaching, but I feel like you're not too much older than some of these players that you coach. I can imagine you probably become friends with some of them. Like I said, especially when you're younger. How do you balance being a coach and a mentor, but also a friend to these players? Is that kind of a hard thing?
It's a great question, because a lot of that really, it depends on your age. I mean, there's coaches who don't have to really battle that because they're seasoned. They've been in this game forever. And I've been in this long enough that I would consider myself like a veteran coach. But the reality is I'm not far off age-wise. Like some of these guys might have brothers. Their oldest in their family is close to my age.
Right.
The reality is these guys keep me young, and I don't want that to ever change. And just because my number to my age is I just turned 36, like it doesn't matter. I sometimes people try and draw this. When I first got into coaching, I heard from so many coaches who I respect, draw the line. Don't get too close to your players, And I tried that. It just didn't fit me. And I think it can work for other people. I'm not going against that. But I've been the best version of myself and the best coach when I am acting with, when I'm acting the same way as if they were my younger brothers or, a son of mine, whatever it is. I have so much fun with them, and I haven't had any struggles with that dynamic, that relationship, when I decided to commit to say, you know what, I'm going to be myself unapologetically and just work hard, and whatever happens. And credit to the guys who I coach. They don't hold any of that stuff against me, and I haven't had any issues with it, and I hope that stays the case.
Is that why Kalani and Timberly decided to have another baby so they could stay young? Yeah. They're just trying really hard to stay young.
That Father Abraham is definitely about to get tested again. So.
Oh, I love it. I'm so happy for them. So I can only imagine some of the hardest conversations to have, especially when you get close to these guys, is about playing time or lack thereof. Have those conversations become easier as time goes on, or is it still kind of something you dread doing?
It's something I dread doing. The only thing that's easy about it is that I know I have to have them. For the first couple of years, I'm like trying to find ways to avoid those conversations, but that's the reality of the profession. And everyone, whatever your profession is, everyone has those moments where it's inevitable. Whether you like it or not, you have to do it. And having those conversations, one thing I've learned for sure is the more just 100% open and honest I am, the more the message is well received. Maybe not in the moment, but for sure down the road. And it makes our relationships last longer. There's no animosity or resentment, even though there's initial pain up front sometimes. Like that's the problem I have right now. I have a really deep group of receivers right now, and all of them could easily play. Like there's a good amount of them that could start for me tomorrow and I'd feel comfortable with, but that's not the reality. And I have to have some conversations with these guys and frame things in a way that yeah, it's going to hurt, but they're still going to be motivated and know that they have a role and an impact and that their time's going to come. And there's a lot of lessons within those conversations. So I always dread them, but I've found enough ways when I'm open and honest that they end up actually being really good down the road that we had those.
Well, that's a good life lesson. And so you have those types of conversations. You have to watch some of these guys who have worked so hard to get on the field, go through injuries. Yeah. I feel like there's probably a lot of difficult things with coaching. For you, what's been one of the most challenging parts of coaching? Yeah,
I think it's that. It's keeping these young men who have the pressure of the world on their shoulders. They have all these expectations. They're working so hard. And to see them go through adversity because something's not happening the way they anticipated, which is where we have to step in as coaches and mentors. And one of the mantras we use in our room all the time now that I've adopted over the last couple of seasons is, can you stay committed to the process without being emotionally attached to the results? Mm-hmm. And so you might get hurt and have a career-ending injury. You might put in all this work and you hear outside noise from media or fans that you might be the guy. And all of a sudden, you're not playing as much. So was your process in vain? Yeah. All that hard work. And it's getting these guys to understand that just because the results don't happen the way you anticipate it doesn't mean that the process is in vain. In fact, that process is the most important thing. And so it's been really challenging to see some of these guys go through that type of adversity. But I think on the other side of it are some of the greatest lessons we can learn in life. And that's been really rewarding for me to kind of attack those struggles head on with these guys and try and, get out of the hole with them.
I love that. It seems like the offense has been getting probably the most hype out of anybody in the offseason, and you have guys like Gunnar Romney coming back, Puka Nacua, to help put up some numbers. When you see what you've got to work with, you mentioned how deep, too, your wide receivers group is. When you look at, as passing game coordinator, what gets you most excited for this upcoming season?
Just how many things we can do with the different players. I know you named receivers, and you can go down the list with tight ends. Obviously, Jaron throwing the ball, the depth of running backs. We don't become, dependent on one position group or one player. We can truly go into a game, assuming everyone's healthy, we can go into a game and say, okay, this is what these guys do defensively. Obviously, we're on the attack, so what's the best thing we can do? And we have all types of options now. We don't have to try and force this scheme that might not be the best, but it's all we have. So I just really look forward to the week-to-week planning of taking onto the field what we feel is the best attack for that week, because we have so many weapons we can utilize. And passing game specifically, obviously, is we have a lot of guys, tight ends, running backs, receivers that can make plays and be potential mismatches. And so I'm excited for the opportunity to see all those guys make those plays.
So awesome to have so much depth for that. And last season of independence, that's really strange. That's like a really crazy thing to think about. Yeah. But you have some awesome teams, Notre Dame, Baylor, Stanford, Oregon. What do you want to see your guys accomplish in this final season of independence?
Just not take that for granted. The fact that we can play, no one has a schedule like that besides Notre Dame. I mean, I think we're the only two teams. There are other independent teams, but no one has the luxury to have that type of schedule throughout the year. You kind of have to wait maybe a feature game preseason or a bowl game at the end till you play someone outside of your conference. And so kind of going back to what I'm going to miss the most of, like traveling and playing those games, these guys just got to understand that they're at the end chapter of a very historic part of a rich history in BYU football, and that we're closing the door to independence and they can end this thing on a really good note against the unbelievable schedule, and to not take that for granted and to just kind of relish every opportunity week in and week out and have fun and create memories.
Is that something you talk to guys like Gunnar Romney about, who this is his last season? So he's probably kind of like, I don't get to play in the Big 12. That would kind of be a bummer a little bit. But is that something that you've expressed to them? Like, this is an incredible opportunity.
Yeah, not so much in depth, but to your point of like what they're leaving behind. Every season, players come back and there's always something that happened or is going on where they're like, man, why didn't I get that? Yeah. But at the same time, it's a great opportunity to remind them, well, it's because of you. It's because we're experiencing these things because of you. And so for any like bummed out feelings these guys might have of not being in the Big 12, they can and should counter that with, more importantly, like, this is a result of a lot of the sacrifice we've made together as a team, and we'll be enjoying it from the sidelines. So I think it's a good thing.
Absolutely. I'm talking to BYU's passing coordinator and wide receivers coach, Fesi Sitake. Fesi, thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day here at Media Day.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate you. Yep.
Cougar Tailgate. I'm Lauren McClain. I'm here now with BYU senior star defensive lineman Lorenzo Fauatea, who is looking like he's ready to plow down some offensive linemen. Are you ready?
Yeah, definitely. I have to be ready. So.
You do have to be ready.
Yeah.
You have quite the schedule coming up. How's your summer going so far?
Summer's going good. Just our workouts with the strength coaches, just being with the players. You're with them every morning. You're literally blood, sweat, and tears type of days sometimes. So it's just cool to be with everybody, working out, grinding, knowing that we're doing this for a reason. So.
Do you ever get sick of seeing those guys? Are you like, oh my gosh, give me a break from these same faces?
That's what my wife tells me that. She asks me
she's
that
sick
every
of your
time.
face.
Yeah, she's just like, I was like, I'm going to go with can I go ahead and eat lunch with the boys? Like, are you tired of seeing them? I'm just like, nothing like some brothers together,
I love that. Your wife's like, what about me?
Yeah.
So when you're not playing football, what are you doing? What's your favorite thing to do?
Pickleball.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a pickleball player.
Yeah, I'm a pickleball player. I love playing pickleball. I mean, it's something to do other than basketball, football. And I was like, let's go play pickleball today. And you run doubles, so you're not as...
Well, yeah, you don't have to run as much as the
If I'm
other
playing
sports.
singles, I'm giving up. I'm losing. But doubles, at least I know I have somebody on my left side. Like, all right, you got it.
I'm too tired. You
Yeah,
got this.
get that side.
Does your wife play with you?
Yeah, she plays with me. We have like a little... It's like a little group that goes here and there. Try to go every week, but...
Oh, my
It's
gosh.
fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Do any of the other football players play?
Yeah, I know they all play, but I don't think they're all good. But I was trying to do like a little NIL pickleball deal.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to come see some BYU football players play pickleball? Have a little tournament and see who's the best. Yeah,
Are you going to do that?
Oh, I don't. It was just in my head.
You got to do that. I
Yeah.
feel like people would come in droves to see that, or at least play with you. You should
Yeah.
let them play with you or against you. I love that idea. All right, so you had to end your seasons early, the past 2 seasons, due to injury. How ready are you to be healthy?
Oh, right now I'm fully healthy. I'm back with the boys. I'm back with the team. Got cleared by the training staff, strength staff, and it's been hard, like the past 2 years. I played it in my head too. The last 2 years, I played 9 games out of 25. So the rest, it's just, and they're both the first 5 games in the season within the last 2 seasons. So it's been hard, but
You feel like you haven't been able to finish what you've started
Yeah,
the past 2 seasons. Yeah.
it's like hard, I'd seen Tavon Austin's interview that he did, where he was talking about how he felt like he was the first round draft pick,
Yeah.
fell down, went to practice squad, got cut, and just saying like how far, low you can go. Like at the bottom, you hit rock bottom, the only way is to go up.
Right.
So I'm blessed right now, My family has helped me out, especially my wife. My wife has helped me out.
Good.
Kept me through the days where I was hurt, and I was just like trying to get over it and like keep motivating me to be better and just to get healthy.
I can't even imagine what that's like, and unfortunately it happens a lot to a lot of players in football because there's so many injuries. What's that like when you get the news from the doctor like, hey, you're done for the season? What's that like for you?
It's just like it doesn't hit you right away. It's just one of those like you see the doctor and you're on your way home and you're just like, dang, I'm really done. And then the games that you look forward to, things that you look forward to in your future, where you saw yourself. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty hard. So
I'm sure it takes a mental toll and it takes a lot of people around you to help you out, like you mentioned before.
Yeah, it was. Like last year, I don't think a lot of people don't know this, but like last year, the month before, I think the 3rd week of July, I got back surgery. I was going through the whole year of, I had a herniated disc in my L3, L4, L4, L5. So I had 2 herniated discs. And the pain throughout the all summer was hard. I went through it. But it came to a point where I couldn't sleep at night. I was sleeping on the ground, moving to the bed. I could not sleep. And then we just had surgery like the next week. Thank the training staff for helping me out. I had surgery, came back 6 weeks later. I jumped right into fall camp. But I knew the first game of the year I was hurt. I was like, dang, I'm playing with an injury. So, yeah, I played with the injury the first 5 games. And then after Utah State, I was like, dude, I can't do this.
Can't do it again.
Yeah.
The love for football is strong.
Yeah.
So it's got to be really strong. What made you want to come back to BYU for another season despite those injuries?
I just knew that, I felt like I'm here. I needed to be here. Like, I didn't feel like leaving.
Yeah.
Played a lot of scenarios out in your head. When you're hurt, you have a lot of time to yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes people talk to me, are you leaving? You going to transfer? I'm like, I'm going to stay, I have my wife here. I have family here too. So I just, why not finish what I started? here at BYU. So,
What's your relationship like with Kalani?
oh, it's strong. It's good. I mean, Kalani's just a man that you'll see him around here and there, especially now they're in the off season. We're just with the strength coaches. But like, it's just a man that you see, and then he asks if you're okay, and you're okay. Like he's just checking up on us. But he makes sure that he takes care of us. So
He's a good guy.
yeah, he's a good guy. He takes care of us really well.
This is your last season playing football for BYU.
Yeah.
Does it feel a little different this season heading into the football season?
Yeah, it does. It does feel a little different, especially when you have like these new high school kids that are coming in. I'm just looking like,
You're babies.
yeah, I'm just like, dang, I've been here too long. I need to get out of here. Yeah. In my head, I see Fred Warner. I'm like, dude, we were on the field together at the same time. I was like, I need to get out of here and go be where he's at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah.
But it's a different feeling. There's a lot of load on you, obviously, missing the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then senior year, just ready to play football is all it is.
You mentioned the younger guys that are coming in. They probably seem so young to you. So as one of the leaders on the defense, do you feel the need to kind of help them out and reach out to them? Do they come up to you a lot? What's that dynamic like?
Right now, when I see them, I just say, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, what's your name? I tell them my name,
Yeah.
welcome to the team. Then from there, I just let them go. Like right now, especially in the summer, they have their workouts. In my head, you just work out, pay your dues, do what you need to do, to acclimate yourself to the team. And then once you're like with us, and then I'm just like, yeah, I'm Lorenzo, play defensive line, Then they're coming in, they get the flow of like the system of being here in college, going to school, living in the dorms, and all of that. So I just let them do their thing at first, and then once we start coming together more, adding them in onto the team, and then just like, yep, I'm Lorenzo, D-line.
I love that. I can imagine you'd be one of the nice guys helping these guys in. I love that. So you graduated this past spring, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you get your degree in?
So I majored in sociology and I minored in psychology.
Okay, cool.
So yeah,
So are you now taking graduate classes? Or will you be?
It's still in the works to see.
Wow.
Still deciding if I want to take graduate school classes or take some post-bac classes and play football.
Okay.
So,
well, I love it.
Thank you.
I love that you're back. What are you expecting from the defensive line this season?
Everybody to improve. There's always more room to improvement. Especially for the defensive line, we have a lot of room to improve. But we know that we're going to be ready for the first game. We're ready. I expect us to be one of the best defensive lines in the nation, and we know how to do that, and we know how or where to get that. You know what I mean? Like within ourselves. So I expect a lot from us. We're a great group of boys. Happy to be especially in this position group. So,
obviously, you never want to be injured, but was there when you are on the sideline, do you feel like you learn a lot when you're watching the other guys on the line and you're like, okay, this is what I need to do, A, B, C, D. Is that how it is, kind of?
Yeah, you learn a lot. Like I said, you're always in your head when you're injured.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you're watching the game going like, dang, this is like, you're playing it out, and then like, you're yelling at the boys like, oh, make sure you do this, and you're just like, dang. Basically, the game just opens up to you more.
Yeah.
Just seeing it from outside, watching it.
Sometimes,
it's helped.
Sometimes a blessing in disguise, right?
Yeah. I hope.
Yeah. Here we'll see.
Yeah.
No, it'll be awesome. And you're going to be going up against some of the best offensive linemen in the country this season.
Yeah.
There's some crazy good offensive linemen in the schedule. And luckily, you go up against one of the best in practice in Blake Freeland. What's that like going up against him?
No, it's crazy. You know what I mean? I remember him his first game starting as a freshman was against Boise State in 2019 when we won at home. And I remember everybody was like making it a big deal. I forgot if there was somebody in front of him that got hurt, but it was his first start. And then I remember I was just like, bro, just do your thing, bro. It's college football. You block him, you win. You win. But this guy, how he's changed from that to now who he is now, I'm like being one of the top offensive tackles in the nation. It's dope.
So cool.
Yeah, it's dope to see that. Like, this guy's a beast.
I remember talking to Kairos Tonga a few years ago, and he was telling me his secret to getting past the offensive lineman. And he said when he lines up, he would just stare right in the quarterback's eyes just to scare the crap out of the guy. What's your secret when you're lining up to try and get past the offensive lineman?
Sometimes you just talk to them. You know what I mean? Like,
Really?
There's a lot of dead ball situations, and then it's just awkwardly you're just looking at each other, waiting for the ref to put the ball down and blow the whistle. You're looking at each other, and obviously in game there's conversations.
Yeah.
And some are good, some are bad, some are just like, what the heck's going on here? You know what I mean? Let's just play, but just like talk to them,
Okay.
like just like get in their head wise,
Butter
like,
'em up a
talking
little
crap.
bit.
Yeah, basically talking crap. Like sometimes if I beat a man, I'm like, haha, I got you. Like, gotcha, buddy. Or like stuff like that. Just like dumb things. Like, gotcha, buddy. And they're like, dang, he called me buddy. He said, gotcha. Yeah.
I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
He called me buddy.
So just try to get in their heads, mental game. There's actually two that I remember. I forgot what teams they were. I think it was in 2020. And, it's quiet. There's no fans there. And I remember there's one offensive lineman. There's a dead ball situation. We're standing there. And he heard somebody on the defense. I don't know who, but I won't say who. But there's, a swear word came out. And then after the offensive lineman was like, dang, you guys can swear here? I thought you'd get I was just like, well, in my head was just like, bro, this is like, we're just all human, bro. We're like, we can, but we're not supposed to. That's what we're just talking like, dang. I thought you guys would get in trouble for that. I was like, I think anybody would get in trouble for that, bro. Yeah. And we're just like laughing. Like
that was like during the game that this happened?
This was during the game. Like the refs were talking and we're just facing each other. There was another one who was just talking about like, they were like, are you guys all Mormon? And I was like, bro, not all of us Mormon, bro. I forgot who was next to me. Somebody was in that's not a member on the defensive line, I think. And he was like, yeah, look, he's not Mormon. And he was like, and we're looking, and he was just like laughing, like, you're not Mormon? No, you don't have to be a member to be here. But it was just funny, like some stuff like that.
Wow, the conversations that you have in the middle of a game.
And then boom, hiking, hitting each other.
And then you're killing each other. That's awesome. I love that. You've been here at BYU long enough to know the program like the back of your hand. So what advice do you have for players just entering the program? What do you feel like are some of the main things that they need to know? Just go with the system. Whatever the system says, whatever you have to do, you take care of business. It's going to go by fast. It's going to go by smooth. The flow is going to get along, and you're just going to like, okay, I got to do this today. Maybe I can go do this, and it's just, it'll come, you know what I mean? Yeah. Especially with the boys, the football boys who are just coming in, just do your thing, come in, be where you're supposed to be, be at the right place at the right time. So, and it'll just go back smooth. By then, you'll be a veteran like me. Yeah, time flies, doesn't it? It's crazy. Yeah. I was just talking to Gunnar Romney about this. So during the summer, I feel like there's some great food options, like the 4th of July. Yeah. Thanksgiving's the big one, right? Mm-hmm. But the 4th of July, there's some good options as well. What's your go-to food in the summer? It's like this, just kind of not basic, but it's we do Polynesian barbecue. Yeah. Like teriyaki chicken, marinated overnight. Wake up, throw it on the grill. So good. Yeah, I got some like hot dogs, rice, macaroni salad. All that stuff. Yeah, it's basically just a good old barbecue. What's your guilty pleasure? Do you have one? For food, I love Korean barbecue. Okay. And after I was just like, if somebody says, "Hey, you want to go to Korean barbecue?" I was like, "Put me in there. I'm with you, buddy." Yeah. No matter the time or place, I'm there. I love it. That's so good. I'm here with BYU senior star defensive lineman Lorenzo Fauatea. Lorenzo, thank you so much for coming on with me today, and good luck during the season. Thank you. Thank you so much. And that does it for us today. Thanks again to Fesi Sitake and Lorenzo Fauatea for coming on the show with me. Join us next week with wide receiver Gunnar Romney and Preston Hadley. You can join the Cougar Tailgate virtually, of course, every Saturday at noon Mountain Time, or download, rate, and review our podcast on Apple, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, or on BYURadio.org. This is Cougar Tailgate.